and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm glad that you have, as I want to share with you some of my most personal favorite experiences that we get to enjoy while sailing one of Viking's most popular river cruises, the Romantic Danube. The Romantic Danube has a very special place in my heart, as it was the first ever river cruise I ever took with Viking when I started with the company some 12 years ago. This 8-day journey really encaptures everything that river cruising has to offer, from capital cities, large towns, small towns, and of course some beautiful scenic sailing along the way. And for today's chat, we're going to take this journey from east to west, starting in Budapest and making our way to Regensburg in Germany. There's been a slight revision to this itinerary a couple of years ago, as this now allows us within this 8-day journey to enjoy overnight stays in Budapest, in Regensburg, and now also in Vienna. So we get to enjoy 2 entire days here in the Austrian capital. So let's start our journey together. Day 1 is going to be the day of embarkation. Whether you're just flying into Hungary to start with us and we're welcoming you at the hotel, at the airport and bringing you to the ship, or maybe you've just enjoyed one of our pre-extension stays as well. Either way, you're going to be welcomed on board one of our magnificent Viking longships located centrally right there down in Budapest. Take the opportunity, if you're just joining us, to maybe drop your luggage and then take a stroll into town. Familiarize yourself with the area. If you have flown in, it's a wonderful way to get fresh air and stretch those legs and maybe get over a little bit of jet lag. Because this evening we're going to have a wonderful traditional Hungarian welcome meal. What I really truly love about Budapest is the unique fact that the city itself is divided into 2 by the Danube. We have the wonderful cosmopolitan Pest side, and then we have the historic hillside of the Bud. And the good news for us, we're going to get to enjoy both sides of the river. So it's when we wake up on day 2 that your journey really starts in earnest. Our panoramic walking tour of Budapest is magnificent. Going along with your local guide, who very good chance they're actually residents of Budapest, their knowledge of history and location, destination, and their personal stories they have to share are abundant. And it's really, truly, you're able to tap into these people and really enjoy the knowledge that they share with you. Setting off, as I mentioned, on the cosmopolitan side of the Pest, walking through the streets and the shopping areas, and then crossing over to the Bud and taking the hillside journey to the top. Now, it's once we're at the top of the Bud that I absolutely adore the viewing experience. Making our way to the Fisherman's Bastion, looking down to the river below us, seeing the chain bridge, just spotting the ship that you've maybe just left a couple of hours ago, and then the sprawling views of the Pest in front of us. It truly is wonderful. We leave Budapest and we make our way westward into the Austrian capital of Vienna. Magnificent city. It truly is a cultural jewel of Europe. So join us as we take the panoramic Vienna tour, seeing the palaces, enjoying and taking the architecture, the markets, the new modern streets, everything that Vienna has to offer, we get to enjoy. That tour culminates then in the front of St. Stephen's Cathedral. And it's at that moment in time, your day now is decided. Are you heading back to the ship for lunch? Maybe you've got a tour planned for the afternoon. My personal favorite thing to do at that moment in time, I stay in Vienna, I go for a luncheon, maybe enjoy a wonderful schnitzel at the famed Flügelmüller restaurant, or I make my way to the Naschmarkt. At the Naschmarkt, which is the farmer's market, all these stalls are set out with all their local produce and remarkable. But it also has a selection of local restaurants there as well. I do this on purpose because I've signed up for the Naschmark Chef Tour. Once my personal lunch is done, I will make my way down to the waiting area. The chef arrives with our guests from aboard, and we do the tour through the Naschmark with the chef. Everybody knows them. And we welcomed into the cheese store, into the wine store, into the fresh produce store, into the bakery, and we are just tasting as we're going along. But there's also the opportunities I mentioned now to enjoy one of our optional tours. Maybe the enjoyment of going on a horse-drawn carriage and walking tour of Vienna would be something that you would enjoy. You know, Vienna is famous for many things, and one of those things is its coffee culture. The Viennese Coffee House. Highly recommended. There are so many to choose from. The coffee is just not drunk as coffee, but it's always accompanied by some wonderful baked delicacy. Vienna is the home of the famed Sachertorte, as you see imaged here. This wonderful, rich, dense chocolate cake has its origins in Vienna. There's always an argument to who originally baked the Sachertorte, and that continues to today. And again, as we have 2 days, we can make more options and choices. I say 2 days, that means a night. And this goes without saying. I think even if you're not interested in classical music, our evening out at the Mozart and Strauss concert at one of the local palaces is one of my favorite things to attend. It truly is. We are in the city of the waltz, and we take our trip from the cruise ship into the city. We go to one of the private palaces and we enjoy an evening of Mozart and Strauss. The classical music, oh beautiful, the dresses and the garments that these performers are wearing. We can enjoy opera, classical music, ballet. It's a magnificent evening. It truly, truly is. Even the ride home at the conclusion of the concert is something to behold. Driving through Vienna at night, illuminated, it really, truly is something to behold. We are now leaving the Austrian capital as we make our way westward on the Danube, entering into the beautiful valleys. And the first port of call here is in Krems. At Krems, we're going to leave the ship and we're going to join the tour to Göttweig Abbey. It's something to behold. It truly is magnificent. Being around for some 900 years, this Benedictine Abbey is today a working, functioning abbey. And the monks there are busy with education, growing of apricots to make this magnificent apricot wine that they produce. And we get to exclusively enter into the abbey and join the monks and seeing about their daily business. It is truly remarkable. My goodness, the decoration and the facade within is just truly something to behold. And the views, again, looking down onto the Danube are remarkable. What Viking is starting to cater to the more active. And we've started to see an addition of optional tours aligned to those who like to take bicycle rides, like to hike, maybe kayak. Well, we offer one here on the Danube as well. The beautiful Danube cycle path actually travels all the way from the German-Austrian border of Passau all the way east, almost to the Black Sea. But of course, we're not expecting you to do that. We're going to have our little section here to Dürnstein. But again, a remarkable flat cycle going through the beautiful countryside and viewing of the Danube valleys. It is truly remarkable. We are making use of the e-bikes. You go along with the tour leader in groups, and it really is a remarkable experience. We are now entering into the Wachau Valley. Oh my goodness, it is just something of beauty. This stretch of river is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And what I really look forward to in scenic sailing with Viking is on that morning or the afternoon, depending on what direction you're sailing in, is finding that comfortable space, whether it's in your stateroom, up on the sun deck or the aquavit terrace. Our program director is up in the wheelhouse and narrating and telling the stories and the history of the areas that we're sailing through, the beautiful terrace vineyards and forests and castles and castles remains. And it's just something of absolute viewing pleasure. This brings us to our next port of call, the wonderful, picturesque city here of Passau. It is, it's one of my favorite places. It truly is. And it's quite unique again because Passau is actually located on the confluence of 3 rivers, the Inn, the Ilz, and of course, the Danube. The walking tour of Passau is going to be taken along again with a local guide, taking us through these narrow cobbled streets and seeing some of the highlights of the city, of the new bishop's residence and St. Stephen's Church. Absolutely one of my best memories of St. Stephen's Church is going in and getting to experience the most amazing sound of a church organ. It is remarkable, the church organ within this church. The organ pipes extend the entire length of the church, and to hear it played is just something to experience. It truly, truly is. But it's not just the tour of Passau that we get to enjoy. Passau is just perfectly destination, location for a springboard visit out to another wonderful region. Going out to the city of Salzburg. Salzburg, the home and birthplace of Mozart. Not only the home city of Mozart, but also the famed destination and location for the making of the film The Sound of Music. So we really find that we attract those music lovers on this optional tour for this entire day out in Salzburg. So if this is something of interest to you, absolutely highly recommend the day out optional tour to Salzburg. Now we are entering into Regensburg. It's just one of these cities that you have to experience and view and just look at it aghast and say, what an amazing historic medieval city this is. What's remarkable about the city of Regensburg is that it was left intact after the bombings of Germany during World War II. It was never harmed. So everything you see is historic, it is original, and it is just something of absolute brilliance. And the tours walking through the narrow streets into the marketplace, everything seems older in Regensburg. Whether it's the 12th century stone bridge that helps us enter into the city, or the market square itself, or even Germany's oldest operating restaurant, the Alte Wurstküche, which translated roughly is the old sausage kitchen. If you're a sausage lover and you just, oh my goodness, the German sausage, you have to take a little visit. Even if you're not going to purchase the sausage there, just to view it, to see it, it's as though it's fallen out of a fairy tale book. But again, Regensburg, very similar to Passau, is ideally located to provide us the opportunity to go elsewhere. And one of the all-day tours that we offer from Regensburg is the city of Munich, the capital of Bavaria. Oh my goodness, I love Munich. It's so vibrant, it's very active, it's lively. It has that combination again of historic and modern, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful city. And going along with your tour guide and getting to learn about the history and all the different aspects, it's truly wonderful. If you've not yet had the opportunity to travel out to Munich, always highly recommend it. And it's not just Munich. We get the opportunity to take an optional tour to what used to be the original debarkation port of Nuremberg. Nuremberg, very close by. It is a city of, I always kind of say it's a city of two halves, as you would. the historic medieval city of Nuremberg, positioned up on the hillside with its old medieval walls, its timbered buildings, which looks down onto the spray of the newer city. And for the World War II historians, again, a remarkable tour here as well, specialty tour that we get to enjoy. We take a journey out to the Zeppelin fields, which is actually the location from which Adolf Hitler made his addresses to troops and the Nazi followers, and it's very heartfelt. And you just sit there and you stand there, you imagine what it must have been like. We then make our journey to the documentation department building, the museum there, and from there we move on to the location for the Nuremberg trials at the courthouse of Nuremberg. And if we're fortunate enough and it's not in operation, to actually enter into the very courtroom where the Nuremberg trials were held. Again, that's what I love about traveling with Viking. We provide opportunities for people with interests on all aspects, and it really is remarkable. And then, as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and this cruise culminates here in Regensburg. So maybe you're setting off that morning to the airport to make your homeward bound journey and discuss and contemplate where you'll be taking your next tour. Or maybe you're enjoying one of our extensions. As I started off at the beginning, in Budapest, where we may have been welcoming in people who'd taken one of our pre-extensions. Maybe you've been in Prague, maybe you'd stayed in Budapest, and the same would occur at the conclusion of the cruise as well. Opportunities to enjoy Munich and Nuremberg can be enjoyed as well. I'd like to thank you today for listening to my personal experiences, and thank you to the guests out there. Thank you so much for your loyalty to Viking, to enjoying with Viking, and getting to experience all the different itineraries that we offer. And it would go without saying, to our travel partners, to our travel advisors, recommending Viking to your clients, thank you so much. Without you, it would not be possible. So we thank you. We truly appreciate everything you do in arranging your clients' travel with Viking.